You are listening to Offensive Lines with Marlon and Boyd. Small stakes NFL gambling for the average fan.
Welcome to Offensive Lines. I'm Marlon.
I'm Boyd.
And another winning week.
Yes, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Indeed. We made $7.78 on $30 bet, plus 25.9%, to put us at the playoffs at plus 27.6%.
That's pretty good.
I will take it.
Should have been a little higher.
Should have been a little higher. Maybe. Whatever. We'll talk about that. God.
Dig number one.
You know, it could have been a lot lower on that, too, if we took KC like you desperately wanted to. So, keep that in mind.
I am.
But, you see, I didn't bring that up repeatedly and eagerly for the entire podcast last week because I show some sort of dignity in class.
It was the biggest argument we've ever had.
No, it wasn't the biggest argument we've ever had.
On a bet it was. On a bet it was.
No, not really, because I acquiesced right away to take Carolina. I just wanted Zona. So, same sort of thing you did with KC. Same sort of thing.
But I acquiesced too.
Exactly. That's why we try to work as a team. Let's just say we'd probably both be down if we didn't bet together.
Yes. Oh, yeah. No, it's just... No, but I'm saying I acquiesced on the Cardinals, too, on that one. Right?
Not really.
Sure I did. We took them plus 9.
Yeah, and we'll get to that. No one anticipated a full Jake Delhomme. Come on. That was an absurd statistical outlier. If you were going to predict 7 turnovers, you're a genius. Why didn't you just
I wasn't
bet
predicting
7
that.
turnovers?
No, I'm not saying that. But we would have had Carolina plus 3 is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
On the tees. And I acquiesced on that.
I thought we didn't do this. Or do we only not do the woulda, coulda, shoulda when I was right?
No, you brought up you acquiesced like I did for Kansas City. And I said, well, I did the same on the same bet. I did the same thing. That's all.
All right. So, if no one was paying attention, our Denver bet, which we agreed on.
Which I said to that to you after the podcast last week. I said I thought I was going to have to fight you on Denver, and we'd agree on Carolina. It was the exact opposite. Going into it, I thought that's what I thought. I thought we'd be on the same page on Carolina.
Liked Denver. I had no issues with that, and let's talk about how brilliantly fucking Denver's defense played.
Well, I said this to you before we did the podcast, that Wade Phillips is probably the best D coordinator of our generation.
And I agreed. I brought up something from podcasts years past when Wade Phillips was hired as head coach from the Dallas Cowboys. He was defensive coordinator of the Chargers, and I was crushed. You could get rid of Schottenheimer, that's fine, do whatever, but I knew I was losing something really special in that defensive coordinator. He's fucking amazing.
Yeah, the only one that would give him a run, and he's now the best head coach of our generation, would be Belichick.
Yes.
Because of the job he did against the Bills in the Super Bowl when he was with the Giants.
Yep. The comparison's there. Wade Phillips, I still stand, and this is why I hate Jason Garrett so much, is he buried a knife in Wade Phillips' back to take that Dallas head coaching job. I stand by that statement. That offense was vanilla and terrible. And, look, who became the interim head coach and then has since had a 500 career. Fuck you, redhead.
No, but with the Dallas's defense this year was good. Can you imagine what they would have done with Wade Phillips as a D coordinator?
I don't think Wade Phillips is a great head coach, but I think he's better than Jason Garrett.
Yeah, but his weakness is like Garrett's. Garrett has nothing on the defensive side, and Phillips had nothing on the offensive side.
Well,
So
you know,
unless
that
you
offense suddenly became a lot more lively once Wade Phillips was dispatched.
Yeah, but
It was literally the game after he took over as interim. Suddenly you were seeing swing passes, you were seeing fast hitters. Previous to that, when Wade Phillips got fired, all you were seeing were those 7-step drops and deep balls flung down there.
I know, but what I will say in Garrett's defense, he may have not had control over that totally either. We don't know.
Well, as offensive coordinator, he should have.
No, but
he's certainly the most responsible.
No, but you don't know what Wade Phillips wanted or how he wanted his, because figuring, well, my defense is going to be good. We just don't want to turn the ball. He may have been more conservative offensively, is all I'm saying.
Maybe. And Wade Phillips also was not good as a head coach in Buffalo. Did he have another stint at head coach?
Wasn't he in Denver at one point?
I think he was just as defensive coordinator. I could be wrong on that, though. But I'm a big Wade Phillips fan, even though when he was Buffalo's head coach, I did say, he's bum son, what comes out of a bum?
Aren't you nice?
Yeah, I was young.
You're like Trump. Insult sandwiches.
That one was better than anything Trump's thrown out. But anyway, Bill Barnwell did a piece for ESPN about what Wade Phillips did in this game. I strongly recommend it. He did not blitz at all, which he is known for. He ran like over 80% of the plays with a 3 or 4-man rush. Von Miller hadn't dropped into coverage as much in the season as he did in this game. And he got a pick. And, yeah, he gave up, I believe, 1 pass play in coverage.
See, your biggest concern was that Brady was going to get rid of the ball in 2 seconds.
Yes.
But they did a job on him to confuse him with everything. The 3-man rush fucked with him as much as a blitz would have.
Exactly. He was expecting the blitz, and it was always, find my hot man, get it out of here in 2 seconds. But, oh, wait a minute, there are still 7 or 8 guys in coverage on every fucking play.
Like, he had to be perfect. He had to be perfect on his throws. Like, the one pass, we talked about it during the game, that he threw to Gronkowski was basically linebacker in the middle, and Gronkowski was double covered. He had to lead him by about 3 yards, so he ran into it.
And still throw it in a 12-inch window.
And it was perfect throw.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not talking about the one in the fourth quarter. I'm talking about one in, like, the second quarter that he hit him for 20 yards on, like, a 3rd and 12. Like, it was, and the brilliant thing is that they'd have 5 or 6 guys at the line, like they were gonna blitz, and then they'd only send 3, and he had no idea where they were going with coverage. Like, it showed the microcosm of what he saw all day was on the 2-point conversion. Like, he threw it into triple coverage to Edelman.
Yeah.
Gronkowski was wide open. And you don't think of Brady as doing stuff. It was masterful.
It really was. Von Miller dropped back into coverage 6 times, I believe was the number. New England's offensive line, holy crap. They just got destroyed by a 3 and 4-man rush, I believe on 83% of the plays, something like that.
Yeah, it was
And
crazy.
This is why you have to have a running game. I know everyone wants arena ball, or the casual fan wants them to fling it. If you can't run the ball, this is what allowed Wade Phillips to design this game plan.
And you're not even scared of them running the ball. Like even if your plan is to rush 3 and they run, what's Steven Jackson getting? 3 yards? He hasn't got any. He has nothing left. Like he was the best of what they had out there to go get. But that game would have been even more compelling if Dion Lewis hadn't been out for the year. If they had to worry about that. Because they didn't have to worry about they didn't really throw screen passes. They tried to hit White on a couple of wheel routes back to back. And that didn't work. Brady overthrew him a couple of times when he had a step. But that comes from more of being jittery in the pocket.
I haven't
seen Brady like
repeatedly.
that.
Happy
Very
feet
often.
repeatedly. And he even commented on it. There were times where I didn't think I had time and rushed the ball. And
well, you wouldn't.
That's exactly
you?
it.
Fucking hit.
There was one play where he moved up in the pocket a full second before he had to. Yes, he could hear the rush coming from behind, but he was terrified. He was flat out terrified. And who can blame him, as you say? And
I looked it up. Wade Phillips did coach the Broncos. He was the first coach after Reeves left.
Okay.
So before Shanahan took Elway to the Super Bowls. No, but back, like, Von Miller was unreal in that game. But Belichick gets the kudos when they win games like that. How did they not help that poor right tackle?
Cannon.
All game. He was a fucking pylon.
We were talking on the phone during the game, and I just said he might as well not even have been on the field on that play.
Yeah.
Like, well, both Cannon and who was their other tackle?
I can't remember.
It'll come to me, but both of them, it wasn't even like DeMarcus Ware and Von Miller were using a variety of moves.
No, they were just beating him to the outside edge every time.
Yep. I didn't see a swim inside. I didn't even see a bull rush that I can recall.
No, there wasn't a lot of stunts either.
No.
It was just pure speed on the outside and just go. See, and we talked about this on Sunday, too. For as much as everybody wanted to call the Arizona fucking Green Bay game a classic just because of the final 3 plays, this game was fucking... This is what I like to see in football. It was a chess match the whole fucking game. On both sides, the Patriots defense played well, too. I still don't understand Jamie Collins trying to cover a tight end, but... outside of that,
he's good. I mean, sometimes he can do it, but he was biting inside and trying to read the quarterback, right? I think if he just stuck with his man, I don't know what he was thinking. Maybe he's injured, because I think Jamie Collins is a really good player.
No, he is, but I was listening because I was out running errands before the game started, so I was listening to it on the radio, and they got, who the hell is doing the game on the radio? Fouts. They had Fouts. And he said they had Collins playing the middle linebacker position for the first time all year. And then they had him out trying to cover Owen Daniels. So...
I wonder if he was hurt, and that's why they moved him in position, thinking that his lack of speed on an injury wouldn't kill him. But, I mean, that's...
Yeah, but it didn't look...
That's just
it didn't look like he was hurt.
No,
on those
it didn't.
Sacks he got.
I was actually disappointed when he was in on an early play. I just thought, fuck. I didn't think he was going to play. And I was disappointed because I actually think he's a tremendous player.
He is. He's their best defensive player. It's like when you look at how thoroughly dominating the Denver defense was, it's amazing that the Patriots still had a chance to win the game.
Well, what Wade Phillips did here was Belichick has made a career out of seeing what you're going to do and destroying that. What Wade Phillips did was did something completely different than what Denver did against New England in the first matchup. They blitzed like over 30% of the time in the first matchup. 17%, 18% this time.
Well, and just the confusion on Brady. Like when he'd go off the field after a 3-and-out, he's fired up, let's go. He had Manning face going off the fucking field a few times.
Everyone's brought up this stat, but he got knocked down 20 times.
23.
23 times, okay. The most of any quarterback since 2006.
And to that end, the Patriots fired their offensive line coach on Tuesday, I think, or Monday.
Which I think may be a bit knee-jerk. Like, maybe he couldn't make the adjustments in that game, but that we thought, to a certain extent, that KC would be able to get through that O-line.
Yeah. And I think, well, but going back to, we kind of argued about this last week, Justin Houston hardly playing. How'd that impact that line?
Well, and in the first matchup, DeMarcus Ware didn't play.
No.
Who I know he's 33, but, you know, he's
still
had
one of the best
hell
ends.
of a fucking career.
Yeah. Yeah, Dallas thought he was done when they let him go.
Well, good thing the GM's the owner and his son's the director of player personnel, so.
But
great call.
No, I wanted to go back to, you said you had to have a running game in the playoffs. Denver kept pounding that fucking thing till they got that big run from Anderson.
Yep.
That's what you need the running game for.
And
they never went away from it. They'd get 2 yards, 3 yards, and then finally in the fourth quarter he fucking busted one. It looked like the Pittsburgh game all over again. He did the same thing on the winning. They got a big run out of him for that winning touchdown against Pittsburgh the weekend before. So you still need to have the ability to run the ball.
And also, Denver with the lead. Yeah, I mean, I want to bring up another thing about this game later, but yes, Denver only scored 3 in the second half, but they sucked up the clock by sticking with the run, too.
Yeah.
I felt happier when New England had the ball, having bet Denver. How did you feel?
Yeah.
I just thought there's a bigger chance of a turnover than there is of Denver's offense scoring.
Well, and the Broncos had a few drops in the first half again. Fuck.
Not nearly as many. And
no, not as many.
Like I was
but
with a bunch of guys on Saturday, and I just said, everyone talks about, Pittsburgh should have had them. Pittsburgh was dominating the game. I'm going, a half dozen drops in the first half. And then everyone looked around, and they're just going, I'm going, how many of those become first downs that change the whole complexion? I don't think Pittsburgh dominated them. And
no, it seemed there
were a lot of quiet nods around the table, put it that way.
Well, they seemed to have the ball the whole first half because Denver, all those drops on third down.
Yeah.
Guys wide open.
Everyone forgot about that when they were fucking rubbing themselves saying Pittsburgh should have won. The other thing I want to bring up, and this is conjecture too, I really think not taking the field goal with 6 minutes and 3 timeouts was a terrible coaching decision.
See, I disagree. What had led up to that to make you believe they were going to get down there again?
What had led
totally
up to
agree with
it
Belichick. We fucking couldn't move the ball.
Here's the thing. The defense had limited Denver to 60 yards and 3 points in the half to that stage. What leads you to think you won't get the ball back at least twice
Yeah, but you've scored one touchdown that whole game set up on a lateral.
Take some points. You're going to need that 3. You're going to need that. Well, they did need that 3 because if they get that 3, they're not going for 2.
But Marlon, you can say all you want. If you want to get into conjecture, the missed extra point was worse than
well, that's not
the 3.
Conjecture. That's just reality. In the reality of having missed the extra point is, do you want to put it all on a single play a multitude of times, or do you want to take your 3 the way Cincy did the previous, or 2 weeks previous, when they should have beaten Pittsburgh using exactly that strategy?
But the game would turn out, the whole Denver defensive plan would have been different. You can't, that one play, like they still came, Marlon, they still came down. Listen, they still came down to a great 4th down pass to even get close to that touchdown. That one to Gronkowski, that was a fucking, with Brady, it's more than once in a career, but for most quarterbacks in a pressure situation, that's once in a career throw. Double covered, dropped it right in his hands, only place it could be. Like, the game was almost over there, and we wouldn't even be talking about it.
The likelihood
Plus
of the
4th
scenario
down play,
is you take your 3,
but if you go, I know,
you get a
but
touchback.
Everything changes after that. Everything changes after. You can't.
What doesn't change is the ineptitude of Denver's offense against the defense that had given up roughly 60 yards and 3 points in that half. Why do you not put the ball in the hands of the defense? You take your 3. You kick a touchback, which is a near certainty in Denver. You hold them to 3 and out, 6 and out. You get the ball back. You've got 4.5 minutes. Would you rather have a drive or a 4th down play?
Yeah, but you can't extrapolate that because Denver's offensive plan would have been different that point.
They
if they
don't
kicked
have
the field.
anything different, Boyd.
No, they were playing conservative. Marlon, they were playing conservative.
And
because their defense was playing so well.
With a 5-point lead, they suddenly would have opened it up? That's ridiculous. With a 5-point lead, they would have been just as fucking conservative.
I don't like the argument that if they kick that field goal, the game plays out exactly the same as it did.
No, but I think that there's an excellent chance that New England stops them with at least 2 or 3 minutes left to go, the ball in Brady's hands, and all you need is a touchdown to win. Not a touchdown in the 2-point.
I don't fault Belichick for making that call. On 4th and 1, I'd have done the same thing. At that stage of the game, Marlon, they hadn't scored a touchdown except for the fucking turnover. There's 6 minutes left in
the game, man.
That set them up at Denver's 20.
Okay,
What's making you think
say they score the touchdown there. Then Denver's offense changes wildly. If you think you might not stop them with a 5-point lead because they'll open up the game, what will they do if they're fucking tied? That opens up the offense, Boyd.
But
if you get the touchdown on that drive, then it changes the conservatives, and there's still 6 minutes left.
Decision.
There's still 6 minutes left.
No, I know,
if
but everything we talked about...
Then you're giving it back, and you're just saying, oh, Denver would have changed their offense. No, they're going to change it if New England scores there with 4 minutes left. Where's the benefit there?
Marlon, everything we talked about Denver's defense before this led to the decision of Belichick to go for it. Brady's been hit more than any time in his career, more than any time by any quarterback in the last 10 years, and they're doing nothing offensively. He was playing the percentages, thinking, when am I getting a chance like this again? We can't change our whole flow. We've been against teams not having balls to do stuff like that for years on this podcast.
No,
I applaud his balls for making that play.
No, okay, let's briefly just do the math here. You're saying that Denver would change their offense radically if they
or
were
their
up
defense,
5.
one of the two.
Okay,
One of the two on 4th and 10.
They would change that if they were only up 5. So
On 4th and 10, would they have blitzed? Maybe.
okay, no, but
There's
okay,
other factors,
I'm just trying
Marlon.
to
It's
recap
not
your
just
argument
it's not
here.
cut and dried. You're giving them the touchdown. That may not have happened either.
Okay,
There's a lot of
so
ifs
then
in the
they
whole
spend
argument.
another 3 minutes to what? Kick a field goal? It's touchdown or nothing, right? Once you make that 4th down, it's touchdown or nothing. So let's give them the best case scenario. They get the touchdown. They get the 2. It's tied. Realistically, we're looking at about 4 minutes left. So because Denver might change their offense and open it up, you would like to give them the ball with 4 minutes left as opposed to taking 3, giving them the ball with 6 minutes left and a 5-point lead.
If they, we could go. Hypotheticals are impossible arguments to have.
No, but mathematically it doesn't even
Because you're
work.
taking everything, you're putting the hypothetical into the situation where they scored the touchdown.
Well, they have to
can't.
score the touchdown, or they just fail
Because
this
play
and
calling
take,
and everything
take
could be
more
different
time off.
on both sides.
No, but once you go for that 4th down there with 6 minutes left, are you kicking the field goal 2 minutes later?
Denver's offense or defense.
I'm giving you the
Dude,
best
I can't
case
win an
scenario.
argument on hypotheticals. You can't win an argument on hypotheticals.
But your
There's too many variables that can change in a
was
football game.
Denver's offense would open up. You started with a hypothetical.
Well, we're in a hypothetical argument. What am I supposed to start with?
You started the argument with the hypothetical, Boyd. You said if they kick the field goal, Denver
I can't give
opens
you a
up their offense.
Fact when it didn't happen.
I know. And
I don't agree with the hypothetical that New England scores a touchdown if they kick the field goal. That's where I'm at. I'm trying to argue a hypothetical with hypotheticals. What am I supposed to give you, a fact?
No, all I'm saying is once they went for it on 4th and 1 there, instead of taking 3, they are not taking 3 at any point. That is patently obvious. Do you think they're going to gain 8 yards and take the 3 later?
Yes, but in Belichick's mind, the way his offensive line is played all day, he's 100% confident Brady's going to get that touchdown at the end of the game.
No.
That's what that's basically the argument you're giving me.
I'm saying he's
Yes.
hypothetically
You're saying
confident
the
they're going to
touchdown's
get
given.
a touchdown. Okay,
The touchdown's given. And
no, Boyd, you're so...
they're still down
okay.
5.
Yeah,
They're still down 5 with the field goal.
and you've got 6 minutes left, all your timeouts, and your defense has allowed 60 yards and 3 points and a half. Your team has gained about 140 yards and has gotten into field goal position.
But hasn't seen the end zone when they started. The only time was when they started at the Denver 20.
So you're just saying we never get a touchdown?
No, but when we've talked about their offensive line being a
but you're
turnstile,
still looking at looking at New England hypothetically needing a touchdown.
Well, they do.
Yes.
With the field goal, they still need a fucking touchdown. Hypothetically, they need a fucking touchdown to win. A field goal does them no good in the last 2 minutes. So you haven't been down there the whole fucking game. You get to the 30 and it dies. All fucking game. So what confidence in his offensive line does he have that they're going to be able to march down the field 70 yards to score a touchdown in the final 3 minutes?
You're going way into
No,
the concept of over-aggression, man.
The pass to Gronkowski was a once-in-a-career fucking pass on 4th down. Both of them were. He threw up a fucking prayer to Gronkowski for the touchdown. And you're telling me it was a given they're going to score the touchdown, so they should have taken the field goal.
So then why go for a 1 yard? Because you're not going to get a touchdown. All you've got is another set of downs to waste more time.
Oh, my God, dude. You're arguing a hypothetical with absolutes.
No, I'm
You're
saying there's no need to go for the touchdown with 6 minutes on the clock, a defense that has shut down the opposing team, and all your timeouts.
How many times have you been at the 10 in the whole game?
They weren't at the 10.
They were at the 12. Sorry. Whatever. They were fucking in the red zone. Okay?
No, they weren't.
So the whole game, the only touchdown you scored, you started the drive in the red zone. They were in the fucking red zone. That was the
second one, Boyd. They weren't in the red zone.
They only went for it on 1 4th down, as I recall.
No, they went for it on 4
with 6 minutes left.
Downs.
With the 6 minutes left, they went 4 4th downs, or 3. They had 2 4th down plays on the final drive.
Yep, and they missed 2 previous 4th downs.
The one to Edelman was fucking at the 12. That was the one with 6 minutes left. That was the 4th down play.
So you take the easy field goal because you're going to need it.
I don't agree.
All right.
There's too many variables that you can't account. How, like, out of all the fucking plays you can call and options you have defensively and offensively, we're taking that 4th down Hail Mary into the end zone to Gronkowski as an absolute. The 4th down play through for 35, 40 yards to Gronkowski is an absolute. Denver doesn't change anything on defense, what they're trying to do on the last drive if they're only up by 5. That's absolute. They're going to play exactly the same way. When you can't. There's too many variables in a football game to say everything would have played out exactly the same way.
I'm not saying. I'm just...
Well, you are, because you're arguing they should have kicked the field goal because they scored the touchdown after.
I'm saying that you're going to need that field goal because otherwise a 2-point conversion is a 4th and 2, right?
Yeah, it's a 50-50
in reality. No, and actually, like 30% of 4th down conversions make it. Right? So you're saying that you would rather do 2 4th and 2 conversions to tie than to take a field goal with tons of time. The time is the factor here.
No, the absolute that they're scoring a touchdown after that is the problem.
No, it's a chance. It's always going to be a chance.
They had a chance to make 4th and 1. There's always a chance for everything.
Yes, and all you're playing for then is overtime. Doesn't that involve some chances? You're ignoring the chance that the best he could hope for there in that situation then was a tie.
They had been in the red zone, once? Maybe twice? The whole fucking game? You think you're marching down the field with 3 minutes left?
Okay, are they going to march down the field in overtime?
Everything's a given because it ended the way it did. That's what I have a problem with. That everything's going to play out exactly the same if they kick the field goal.
No,
I'm
saying that they have an excellent chance to stop Denver really quick, have 4 minutes, 2 minutes, 2.5, 3, whatever, to go for a touchdown for victory. As opposed to how it actually played out, which they had a late desperation TD drive with a chance to tie.
Right. But that's where I have the problem, because with Denver with a 5-point lead, do you not think their offensive play calling might be a little different than with 8? Knowing that the best that the Patriots could do was tie?
Okay,
all those play calls become different when it's a 5-point lead versus an 8-point lead.
Let's say they hit that. No, Boyd, you're missing this entirely.
No, I'm
Let's
not.
say they hit this. So you're saying that you've got to be fearful that Denver would change their offense with only a 5-point lead. So you score that touchdown, then all of a sudden you're tied. Do you not think that would change the play calling more than it would change it with a 5?
It would. But you don't think a 5-point lead with 6 minutes left and Tom Brady's on the other sideline changes their fucking play calling?
You don't think a tie game or a 2-point lead, if they miss it, doesn't change their play calling?
It all does. That's my point.
What was the best possible result for New England there?
A touchdown. They hadn't been in the fucking red zone the whole fucking game.
Okay, so they get the touchdown, and then all of a sudden, they're in, at best, a tie situation.
Yes, but it changes everything. Every decision they make leads to the next decision. One play leads to the next. So if Denver has a 5-point lead, I don't think they run it into the ass of the fucking line. They tried to end the game on a 25-yard pass to Sanders. Like every play leads to a different decision to make on what you want to do. A 5-point lead and 6 minutes left, the Denver makes totally different play calls to try and eat some clock.
Yeah,
they may
and
not
that's
have been
exactly
successful.
what you want with 5 minutes left. Because then you get the ball back in the hands of a Hall of Fame. They may not have been successful. They might have been successful.
That's why this argument sucks. Because we don't know what's going to happen.
I just think it was a terrible decision.
Marlon, we can make every fucking hypothetical on how the game could end. You could do it with every game ever played. Well, he shouldn't have thrown that pass. Or he shouldn't have thrown that pass. But we don't know what decisions come after that because they didn't have to be made. That's my argument. There's no way to know how it plays out if they kick the field goal because they didn't kick it. We don't know what Denver would have done. We don't know what New England would have done. We don't have any idea. Would they have blitzed more on that last drive with only a 5-point lead to try and get more pressure on Brady? As we already mentioned, he had fucking happy feet the whole fucking game. We don't know.
But don't they still need a touchdown in there somewhere?
That's why you try. They do. But if they get it with 5 minutes left or 4.5 minutes left, there's a little more pressure on Denver's offense. And like you said, they can fucking the New England defense had only allowed 60 yards.
Didn't you just argue that it would put more pressure
if you go for
on
the touchdown,
Denver's offense if they kicked the field goal?
I can't win a hypothetical argument, dude. You've got it in your head they could have kicked the field goal. I'm not changing your mind. We disagree on it. Because we don't know. I don't know how you're so certain they score a touchdown at the end. That field goal was the whole difference in the game.
I would rather have, instead of trying to tie the game on 2 points, I would rather have a touchdown for the win.
Well, let's see. Gostkowski's already missed a fucking extra point. 2.
Well, yeah, because...
So is the field goal given? Is the
one time he misses an extra point
but you're taking
since his rookie
Marlon.
year.
So what? You're throwing I'm throwing hypotheticals out. He's missed once already. Could he have missed again?
And then what's the tragedy? It's 6 minutes left, and you're in exactly the same position as you are if he hits it. Or, right? If you miss the 4th down, you're in exactly the same position as missing the 4th down.
4 years of podcasting right now with your stance on they should have kicked a field goal when every time we bitch about coaches not going for it in certain positions. And this time, because they scored a touchdown at the end, it was the wrong play to go for it.
Well, because they kept getting the ball back and kept driving down into field goal range. Shit, you really want to look at that? They could have kicked 3 field goals and won. From their field position, the way it played. Right?
So they
missed
were inside
another... Pardon?
They were inside the 20 3 times?
They were
For three
inside the
field
20
goals?
once. The next time, it was 4th and 6 to the Denver 14. That was actually better than the other one. And then when they scored the touchdown, they were inside the 10. So, yeah, they could have kicked 3 field goals and won that game.
What day is it today? The 26th?
Why do you ask?
Are you still? I can hear your mouse rolling.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to look up the game summary.
I've got it. 4th and 1 at Denver 16 at 6:03. Incomplete. 4th and 6 at Denver 14 at 2:25. Final drive was 4th and goal at Denver 4.
Okay. So you're saying they should have kicked all field goals and everything would have played out exactly the way it did?
No, that's what I'm not saying. What I'm saying is one of those might have been nice, seeing as they lost by 2. Especially with 6 minutes left and your defense shutting them down. Because after the first one, Denver's drive was 3 plays, 3 yards.
The decision was made because they had done fuck nothing against that defense for the whole fucking game. That's why the decisions were made when they were made. That's what it comes down to. So you're saying magically they were going to fucking figure out the Denver defense.
Okay, but in the third quarter, they got to 4th down at the Denver 20. They kicked a 38-yard field goal to make it 17-12. Their next drive wasn't good. Their next drive went 6 plays, 20 yards. Their next drive went 11 plays, 63 yards, nothing. Their next drive went 8 plays, 57 yards. Their next drive went 8 plays, 50 yards. One offense was moving it. One wasn't. The Denver drives there were 3 plays, 0 yards. 3 plays, 3 yards. 10 plays, 48 yards where they got the field goal. And that was on the one run you mentioned. The previous drive, 3 plays, -1 yards. The previous drive, 7 plays, 34 yards, punt.
But Denver wouldn't have changed anything the whole game. They would have just went the same way. Defensively, offensively, it all would have played out exactly the same.
No, but I'm just saying.
Well, so am I. The fuck, they could have got a pick on the last drive. Fuck, who knows what happens if they kick the field goal. No, it wasn't. It wasn't terrible.
Yeah, it was.
No, it wasn't.
It's time for aggression.
It's
we
not.
Thought this was going to be a short podcast.
It's not fucking terrible. You can't say it's terrible because they scored the touchdown because you don't know if that would have fucking happened after that.
But what we do know is it didn't happen before that.
Yes, but we know. Fuck me. It's arguing in a fucking circle. We're arguing in a circle.
And I gave an opinion.
Your argument is that they would have scored the touchdown. Because they scored the touchdown, everything that played out before it would have stayed the same. Everything would have stayed the same.
Did they get 3 times in the red zone? Yes, they did. They could have taken 3 field goals. Yes, they did.
Yeah, but they...
And they gave up.
You don't think they make play calls? Do you not think they make play calls on game and situation?
Play calls are
game time and situation?
Okay, so Denver
you're taking that last drive as a given.
Changed their play calling based on 8 versus 5. Whereas, and again, I'm giving you a very best case scenario. So on the 4th and 1, on that drive, they end up scoring.
Hypotheticals.
Yes, but so are you, and you're saying hypothetically
I
that was
don't want to
brilliant.
argue. I don't want to fucking argue hypotheticals because you can't argue it.
Well, and the game's the game. They lost.
Well,
bad
that's my
decision.
point.
So bad decision.
It wasn't a bad decision. I don't agree
but
with
that's
you.
a fucking hypothetical. It was hypothetically a great decision. Fuck.
I don't agree with it being a bad decision. Yeah, I'm not saying it's hypothetically not a bad decision. I'm saying it's not a bad decision. That's a fact. I can go back to that play call he made, and I say I agree with the play call he made. You say you disagree and went on a hypothetical fucking tour for 45 minutes.
Okay, one has the result of failure, and one has the result of success.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, you want to get away. Do you understand what hypothetical actually means,
Yeah,
boy?
you're extrapolating from not taking the field goal that hypothetically that touchdown
if
still
you
happened.
want to deal with facts, he went for it on 4th, he lost.
Yeah,
that's the
and
fucking
I agree
fact.
With you going for it on 4th.
No, and agreeing with
And
it is
you're saying hypothetically, if they kick a field goal there, they still win the game. When you can't say what plays would have been called or happened after that,
you're
it would change their
unclear
play.
on the fucking language, Boyd.
Dude, fuck off.
Fuck you.
No, fuck you.
No.
When you're arguing that everything plays the same and that they score the touchdown to win, that's hypothetical.
No, I'm not saying
you don't know what
they
the fuck's going to
fucking
happen
win.
after they kick the field goal.
They have a better chance to fucking win.
You are. That's what your whole
Okay,
argument.
if you want no hypotheticals, it's quite simple. Denver won. New England lost. Boom. That's fact.
Right,
Everything
Mark,
beyond
we can
this,
say-
your opinion is a hypothetical by the very nature of it being an opinion. Why?
Marlon,
Because if
I don't
fact,
disagree. You can disagree with his play call. I agreed with it. What happened after that happened based on what was happening during the game. You can't take and throw a field goal in there and think everything else stays the same. Just because of the way it played out.
I think everything else stays the same, Boyd.
So Marlon, if
This
they don't
is
score
where
the
you're babbling like a fucking
No,
idiot.
No, I'm not. So if they don't score a touchdown to get within 2, are we even having this conversation?
They didn't score a touchdown to get within 2 on that
Well, they
drive.
did. No, I'm saying if they don't go, they go for it on 4th down, miss,
Actually,
and don't get the touchdown.
I
Don't
just
get the
brought
touchdown
up
at the end of the
a
game.
very comfortable scenario where they kick that field goal, they kick the next field goal, and they kick the next field goal. 21-20 Patriots on a... Let's look at the numbers here. All they have to do is kick 3 field goals from within 40. And your hypothetical is Denver would change their play call. That is the most ridiculous hypothetical.
On all those things, you're giving him the last drive as a given.
If
every scenario you've brought up gives them the last drive as a given.
Okay.
That's my argument.
And every scenario you have
You don't
is somehow
Denver
Denver figures
changes
out
anything
this
at all?
defense and changes.
Denver changes nothing.
If it's
No,
a
I'm not
five-point
just
game,
talking offensively, but defensively, they don't do anything different.
No.
But they don't do anything different on that final drive when they know they don't have they're not losing if they get scored on. They don't change anything. They just run it the same way. They don't blitz. They don't try anything different. It's just the same scenario the whole way down the field. That's what I have a problem with, is that everything lays out just like that. My argument after the fact was if they don't kick the field goal and don't score the touchdown at the end of the game to make it a 2-point game, are we even having this discussion?
And I brought
You even bring it up.
that
Why didn't he kick the field goal there?
Based on their drives, their capable of winning that game with 3 straight field goals.
I understand. I'm not arguing that. If they kick the field goal there.
Okay, Boyd, let's just go here. One thing you've always said quite accurately, give me a second here, is you hate when they say that an 8-point game is a single possession game, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so at 8 points, it's a 2-possession game. Now, why would you not make that a 1-possession game with 6 minutes, all your timeouts, and a defense that has crippled them?
Because the defense on the other side has crippled you for 50 minutes.
Well, you've actually put up close to 150 yards in the quarter at that stage.
But my argument is, do you not think Denver changes
but okay.
to slow them down?
Dude, that is the definition of a hypothetical.
No.
You're saying Denver would change their defense.
Well, you don't know what the fuck they would do. That's why I hate arguing hypotheticals, because you have no idea. I could say fucking anything they could do.
Okay, based on
they could
what
bring Reggie White out of the grave. They could bring Reggie White out of the grave. Fuck, that's hypothetical. He could sack Manning or Brady 3 times.
No, you are
Marlon,
using a multitude of hypotheticals to support your argument.
Question.
I am using simple math.
Answer the question. Would you even fucking brought it up if they don't score the touchdown on that last drive?
I brought it up when it happened. Why don't you take your 3 there, and then all you need is a touchdown? Because New England was dominating that second fucking half.
And it scored a whopping, 3 points?
3 points, triple the yardage, and was in the red zone. You don't get to the red zone against a brutal defense and walk away with nothing. And they did it twice. And if they'd taken 3 either of those occasions, they win. Even if at the end you don't need that Hail Mary not a Hail Mary, but that fucking prayer to Gronkowski at the back of the end zone, because you just kick a fucking field goal.
They only went for it once on 4th down in the red zone in the second half.
3 times, Boyd. 3.
You said they kicked a field goal in the third quarter. Field goal in the third quarter. Went for it 4th down at the 4. That was the last drive. 4th down at the 16. That's the 3 times in the red zone in the second half you read to me. Those are the 3 4th down plays.
The other one was on the 20.
That's what you read to me off the game stuff.
Okay, so a 41-yard field goal is wildly different.
Well, they kicked a field goal on one of them. They kicked a field goal on one drive inside.
No, they didn't, Boyd.
You read me it. You read me that in the third quarter they kicked a field goal to get to 12.
You heard what you wanted to hear.
Right? Then the other 2...
I can bring it up again. Hang on.
One was at the 16. That was the one to Edelman that got stopped.
16...
You're cutting out.
Yeah, I know. I'm connecting to the gameplay.
Can't hear you.
Oh, it's because I'm not talking. All right. I brought it back up here.
You read me 3 4th down plays.
3rd and 6 at the 14 at 2:30. 4th and 1 at the 16 at 6 minutes. And then the final one that led to the touchdown. That seems like 3 times to me. Don't know if you need remedial counting.
The 3 you read to me before was the one they kicked the field goal in the third quarter.
No, check the
one at the 6.
Check the game.
You read it, dude. You read it.
I read it.
So I'm just pulling numbers out of my ass that they kicked the field goal to get to 12 in the third quarter, correct?
That was way earlier than this. So they were 4th and 1 at the Denver 16, the Edelman play. That was at 6 minutes. That is 4th and 1. The next time was 4th and 6 at the Denver 14 at 2:25. The final fourth down was the touchdown. 3 times.
Have you ever heard of the expression, hindsight's 20/20?
I have. And I just said
the decision you would have made would have been to kick the field goal. Fine.
At 6 minutes.
Fine. Yes.
Might have turned out
my
the same
problem
way.
with your argument is everything has to play out the same. That's my I don't care that you don't agree with Belichick's call. That's your opinion.
My problem with your argument is that you say somehow Denver would have changed wildly if they made it a 5-point game.
No, but
which is a true hypothetical, Boyd.
My base of my argument is we don't know what happens after that.
Yes, and then
that's my
if
whole
we
argument.
just
We can't
stick
you can't take
with
it as
facts,
absolute
it
that
was a bad
everything
decision.
plays out the same.
But your argument in defense of this was suddenly Denver would change their play calling. That is wildly hypothetical. Welcome back.
Yeah,
I
think
jumped
we got
in
a
the
cursing
cab.
Timeout.
I went with a baseball bat over to Boyd's place, but luckily we don't have Uber here yet, because otherwise it'd be on.
Oh, okay. Well,
and by the way, if everyone thinks we were super hot, which we were, this is a 30-second timeout we've taken, so sports arguments are fun. They don't have to end in violence.
No.
But now I think I'm going to get raked over the coals on the next game. And
Well, no.
I'm sure you've used all your vitriol now. That was my plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe Arizona should have kicked a field goal when Palmer got picked off at the end of the first half.
Maybe.
Oh, that's right.
hurt.
You weren't watching then.
No, I already gave up. Fuck. It's a disaster. Oh, and by the way, we won the Denver bet. So this is how we fight when we win. That is pretty funny.
Yeah. That's what it was.
So we won 1909 on that bet. The next game, I wanted Zona and the underdog. That was wrong. It was terribly, terribly wrong.
Yeah. A little bit.
Now, seriously, did you expect him to go full
No,
Palom?
I didn't expect... No, I didn't expect 49-15. I just couldn't believe 15-1 at home in the playoffs was only 3 points.
Yeah.
And that's what Denver was getting with an offense that fucking could do nothing. Denver was an underdog at home.
By the way, we didn't even bring up, just to go back to the game briefly, home field matters in certain cases, and that was another reason we were all over Denver.
Right. And that's why I wanted Carolina.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And yeah, I skipped that part.
And when you're 15-1 and Vegas has given you very little respect all fucking year, it boggled my mind. I don't get it. Because Vegas was bet on New England. 92% of the money was on New England. The line didn't fucking move. What does that tell you?
Well, okay, I heard an interesting thing. Did you listen to Sal and Bill?
Yeah.
That he said that everyone was terrified in terms of the bookies that if they moved it to 3.5, everyone would pound Denver, like the serious money. And that's exactly what happened. Anecdotally, right? But still, what happened?
No, but I guarantee you the Sharps bet Denver.
Well, yeah, and that's supposedly what came in.
Argument we had, or not argument.
And Simmons' belief was that they kept on throwing money at New England to double their bets on Denver. And I think he might be right. Refuse to bet Denver until they have to move the line, and then bet Denver. Double.
Yes. Oh, no, the Vegas knew what it was doing. But I'm just shocked. Like, Carolina and Arizona aren't public teams.
No.
And the performance Arizona put up against Green Bay, and they were only 3-point underdogs? It stunk.
That was it. I discounted their performance because I still think Arizona's not a bad football team, but fuck, I was wrong. Wildly wrong.
No, and I just... When any other team 15-1 in the regular season is more than a 3-point favorite at home. Unless it's those old Giants-Niners teams where you had two teams that were as good. And I was looking at that Kuechly pick about 3 times to see who the receiver was.
Oh.
Because your argument was Kuechly couldn't cover Fitzgerald. I was like, oh, please let it be 11. Please let it be 11. No, it was 12. I think it was Brown.
Arizona had a terrible game plan, but none of this is excuse. Like, a 7-turnover game from a team that went 13-3, 14-2, somewhere in there.
13-3, yeah.
Come on, no one predicts that.
No.
And weirdly enough, this game was still a game when I quit watching it. That Patrick Peterson, the defense finally holds them, right? Because Carolina is an onslaught team. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
where they come out and they just smash you, and they let up then.
Well, once they get rolling, once they get some confidence,
fucking onslaught, you can beat Carolina. We saw New Orleans kind of come back. But there, he shanks the punt. Here it is. He's got a lane. And then he muffs that punt. And I just thought, I'm fucked now. I'm just fucked. I knew it then.
Well.
And then, like, you kept watching after that. And Peterson made up for it, I guess, with the pick. Brought it back to the 20, and then Carson Palmer threw a pick. Oof.
Very next play.
He's done. I do predict a Delhomme end to this.
I don't know. Palmer's had more talent than Delhomme his whole career.
True.
Delhomme was like a Ryan Fitzpatrick. You know what I mean? Good has good stretches, and he had one good year, and then everybody thought he was an NFL quarterback. He's Fitzpatrick, who went back to being Fitzpatrick. That's what he was. You are what you are. In the NFL, there's not many quarterbacks come in the late 20s and fucking set the world up. Kurt Warner is the only one I can remember, and even he flamed out for 3-4 years before he got to Arizona.
We had this discussion in an off-season podcast, and we came up with Breeze and Warner as the only guys who became something they weren't in the first 5 years.
Yeah, but even Breeze was highly touted coming out of college. He had a great college career.
But we're talking performance, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of guys are highly touted coming out of college and never make anything. But the only guys who looked mediocre in their first 5 years, who became very good later, those were the only two we could come up with. And Warner we didn't even count because it was Arena League and NFL Europe and all that shit, right?
Well, yeah, his first shot in the NFL, he was good. Then he had like 3 or 4 years where he was shit, and then he goes to Arizona and turns his career around.
Yeah, helps to have Fitzgerald and Bolden there.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but that was a meltdown. That was epic. Like, I looked up some numbers. He had 11 picks this year. He had 4 in this game. He had 3 fumbles all year. He had 2 in this game. I'm not quite ready to say that was Carolina. Most of those looked like unforced errors to me. I don't know that he had a clue.
No, but the home run balls, like those are at best, 30-70? Those deep balls where you thought they had the advantage over Carolina?
No, I thought it was the underneath balls they had the advantage on Carolina. I thought they would suck up the middle.
But that's not their game. That's not their game. When they're on,
okay.
Palmer's hitting Brown for 50 yards in stride for a touchdown.
This is exactly it. They didn't adjust their game plan to the opponent, which is exactly the opposite of what Denver did on defense.
Yeah, but they don't have the players to run it.
Oh,
I don't think they have the guys to run it.
The guy who destroyed is Johnson. He's going to be good. He had 140 total yards, and when they threw underneath to him, Fitzgerald didn't even get a look underneath until the third quarter.
No, but that kind of goes back to our argument. It's game and situation. They panicked.
They thought they would walk out and play the Arizona offense, which was, let's push it deep. 6 of his first balls, if I'm not mistaken, were to Floyd, who was being covered by Josh Norman, who's a fucking superstar. Why do you attack their best? You know?
Well, I know, but the reason I say I think they panicked was you get caught up in that whole the stadium's rocking, you're down 17-0, and you may do things that are out of character based on magnitude of the game. You feel it slipping away, so you do things. You know when you hear coaches say, we got to stay the course? They didn't stay the course.
But their course, I think, was poorly chosen.
But I don't know if that's true, just based on where the score ended up early. Like, the same thing happened to Seattle.
Yeah, it's the onslaught team, as I brought up.
But you change your game plan because, they're rolling up points. We got to force it now. We can't mix in a run or a screen pass. We got to get some home runs here to get ourselves back in the game, get us some momentum, instead of just putting together a 12-play drive to get you back in the game and settle your team down.
Yeah, talk about skittish. And I think that's Arians has obviously done some tremendous things in Zona and did so with Pittsburgh too. He seemed like what we talk about when a coach tries to force a system on a team or even a game instead of adjusting to the game flow.
But he was 13-3.
Oh, fuck. I'm not bitching at Arians, but forcing the ball to Floyd seemed like a really foolish decision. You've got probably the best cornerback in the league on this guy. Why did he see 8 targets, you know?
But the whole team like,
oh well, once you go through
the psychology of the team, like when you're in that magnitude of a game and it starts going bad.
Do you know what it reminded me of?
It's hard to dig yourself up, like to stay even keel and be like, okay, come on, boys, we can come back.
Let's just get a first down. The first step on a long journey, right?
Hard. Like, but you get guys like Peterson, when he muffed that punt, he's trying to do too much.
Yes, and
right.
I
so
will
that,
rarely
but you've
fault
got
him for it. Like, I was upset about that, but I saw what he was trying to do. Like, I'm not going to rank him over the Colts.
No, but you get in the situation where instead of working as a team, individuals try and do too much themselves outside of the scope of the game plan. And that's where I think, like even Palmer, like the play may not have been designed to go deep, but you think I'm getting it back all in one play when you can't. But that's a hard psychology to get out of. And when you're looking at all your dreams fucking going out the window in the first quarter.
Well, you know, in a weird way, I blame Kimo van Olhoffen. You know, who broke Palmer's knee in his first playoff game, and he looked terrible.
Both playoff games.
Yep. So,
but how many playoff games had he played in though?
He's like 0-6 now or something.
Well, no, 1 and whatever, but he hasn't been in a lot.
Yeah, but
Palmer's been around for a long time. He hasn't played in a lot of big games.
I think,
but he hasn't played in a lot of big games.
You don't throw up a 6 personal turnover and walk away from that. Not at 37.
Yeah, but he's in Arizona next year.
Well, yeah,
they got nothing behind him.
Oh, I know,
but you know what? Sometimes, like Seattle's first Super Bowl run, it's just your year for Carolina. Or New Orleans Super Bowl,
again, when
everything
I was
went their
breaking down
way.
These numbers, and I was looking at it, and the closer it got to a big game, Palmer got worse. Each and every week from about 12 on.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with the fact. I'm kind
of the opinion now he's a choke artist. He's a fantasy football player.
I don't necessarily agree. It's easy to label him after the scores that way.
Well, maybe I'm bitter because
like we talked about.
You know, I got destroyed on this one, so.
Well, see, now you're bringing up more than I am.
Oh, I am. I gotta own it, man. I gotta own it.
You remember when New Orleans went to the Super Bowl, every fucking bounce and decision they made went their way? And same with Seattle. Like, you start off the Super Bowl with a safety, takes all the pressure off. They just relaxed and played football against Denver. Denver never recovered from that. And when it starts snowballing, it's almost impossible to come back from.
It's true.
Everybody tries to do a little extra. I'm not defending him. He had a horrible game.
It was
I don't
putrid.
think it should.
That was one of the worst games I've ever seen a 13-3 quarterback play in the playoffs. That's why I brought up Delhomme. I mean, that's almost the only comparison point we have.
I know for performance in one game, yes. Comparison of careers, it's not even close.
No. And I'm not saying Carson Palmer's Delhomme. Yeah, no, I agree with you.
I'm not defending his performance. I'm defending his career more so. And it's just like Carolina, even when they make a mistake, and which could have been a turning point in that game at halftime, instead of being 24-7, it could have been 24-14. with Arizona
actually
getting
could
the
have
ball
been
back.
17-14. Peterson doesn't muff that punt. He's got a lane for at least another 25.
But that's what I'm
you
saying.
You shank the punt, and if Arizona has a chance there, that's a 17-14 game. You've survived the onslaught. You survived Cam Newton being fucking insane.
Well, okay, let's give some credit here to Carolina's offensive line. Newton had all day. He didn't even have to think about running the ball. His touchdown run was a designed play.
Well, here's the problem, I think, with the Arizona defense is we talked about the lack of a blitz that destroyed Brady. Arizona can get no pressure without a blitz. Nothing. They're starting to look like it's run by one of the Ryan brothers.
Well, and maybe that Tyrone Matthew injury was a bigger deal than we thought. Because they made it to that game. I brought it
up when I opposed betting Zona, where we would have had 3 winners. Yes, fuck. You're the fucking Zona whisperer. Fuck you. Sorry.
Well, I couldn't see betting against 15-1 at home.
Oh, Boyd. I'm just laughing. You were picking Zona all fucking year, and I wasn't. I should have bowed to
for most of the year,
knowing who Zona was.
Well, it was more to Carolina and believing in what Cam Newton was. And Carolina's defense might not have the best stats in the league, but they make plays when they have to. It's weird. It reminds me of New Orleans the year they went to the Super Bowl. Every play call they make, the guys are in the right position to make the player a big pick. Or offensively, they fumble against Seattle at the 10 and it bounces right to Tolbert. Like, it's one of those years.
Yeah.
That it's Carolina's getting, for whatever reason, I don't think they replicate. Fuck, we bet Carolina to win the division. They weren't even favored to win it.
Yeah. No, we've been in Carolina for 2 years.
No, but I'm just saying, like, everything's falling right for them.
Who's their head coach? Another ex-Chargers defensive coordinator. I'm going to go cry now.
Well, no, but it's the whole how they said it. I texted you during the game because at the start of the game they said, "Oh, how he's matured as a coach, Rivera and everything, and he's become a really good coach." When they blasted him 3 years ago, he should be fired and everything. And I texted you, "Oh, it's amazing how good these coaches become when the talent gets better." That's what it comes down to. Everybody thinks they know the NFL, us included, that we're smarter than the coaches, and these coaches are garbage. Coaches, the reason Bill Parcells said, "If you want me to cook the food, let me get the groceries," is because he understood that without talent, you can't coach shit into Super Bowl champions.
No,
the coach is
but
as
what
smart
that
as the
doesn't
talent around
explain is Dallas. Recent Dallas. They've had one winning year in 6. I do think a good coach, given talent and allows that talent to play, becomes much better.
But
I think a bad coach leads you to another 8-8 team.
Well, let me say this. Let me say this about that argument. Garrett knew what he had on that defense last year. Not 2015, 2014.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, "Oh, he's running DeMarco Murray into the ground." Well, you know what? That's how he could win football games.
Yeah.
That's where he had the talent, was on offense. He kept the defense off the field. That's why the defense had decent numbers. because they were fresh the whole fucking year.
Oh, no, and absolutely. But the fact is he hasn't been able to construct a coherent offense. And I'm skipping last year, right?
Right.
I'm
but with the talent
last
that
year, but the previous 3 years, 8-8, he's Jeff Fisher. At best.
No, I can't. You can't forgive some of the play calls and passing situations. But Romo made some bad decisions then too. But their defense has never been. When they had a good defense,
a good coach can elevate, but it doesn't.
Yes, but
if you have no talent, I don't care who your coach is. Right? Is that a reasonable summary?
Oh, you could put in Tennessee. What difference does it make if they had when they hired Malarkey? We haven't even talked about that.
Oh, I was saving that for the off season.
Yeah, but when they hired Malarkey, I sent out a tweet and just said "fuck" in about 100 letters.
I didn't get that.
And then after the fact, it's like, well, does it matter? We're not close anyway. We don't have the talent to compete. Does it matter who we hire as a coach right now? Maybe 2 years from now, if the talent improves and we're not doing anything, you get somebody else in.
It matters. But
the talent,
dude,
the talent we have is, you could put fucking George Halas, fucking Vince Lombardi, Belichick. It's not going to fucking matter. We're not winning anything. We might win a few more games, but we're not winning anything. It's so far out that it doesn't even matter if Malarkey coaches or not. Just keep bringing in these guys that have losing records as head coaches. Who gives a fuck? It doesn't matter. We're so far off talent-wise. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Fuck.
Take a shot at me here. Take a shot at me here
Switzer
about
won
taking
in fucking
Zona
Dallas.
on this.
If you got talent, it doesn't matter who fuck.
He won for 1 year, though.
Who?
Switzer.
Wisenhunt?
Switzer.
Yeah, but I know, but he has no talent. If you put him in Tennessee right now, or fucking, I could have went and coached that Dallas team. He didn't even coach. So, if the talent's there, you're only as good as your talent. So, these coaches that get the jobs on these shit teams are never going to have good records because they're shit teams because they have no talent.
Yeah.
Yes. So, you could have went out and hired the best coach available, who isn't Malarkey, obviously, who the next hot young coach is or hot assistant. It wouldn't fucking matter. Look at Dan Quinn in Jacksonville. Had the best defense in football in Seattle. How's Jacksonville looking? Or no, in Atlanta, sorry. Quinn's in Atlanta. Isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
The old Seattle D coordinator from their Super Bowl win is in Atlanta, sorry. What do they look like? Talent matters. Scheme is good if you have the talent. If the talent isn't there, Belichick fucking sucked in Cleveland. Well, it doesn't matter.
It's going to be fun to see New England fans when Tom Brady is gone.
Back to our original points about Carolina, Arizona. I was just flabbergasted Carolina was only a 3-point favorite.
Fair enough. I liked them at 9. Get your last
they've only
dig
watched
in
the
here.
games.
We're at 1. We're at almost 90 minutes here, Boyd, so we got to wrap this up. We kind of got a little sidetracked there.
Okay, so we won the Carolina bet. Lost our parlay.
Teaser.
No, I was mentioned to you before that. I just got to get this one point in because I fucking wasted 20 minutes last night. Yeah, or teaser, sorry. I wasted 20 minutes last night listening to last week's podcast just for one specific portion. And it wasn't so much any part of our argument about that game, which was good, which was one of the best podcasts we did all year. This one might have even topped it. I had to listen to see what score I said I hoped it would be. Because I knew I said something ridiculous, and I said 45-3. So I wasn't too far off. I just had to listen because I remembered, I hope this game was fucking 45-3.
Oh, we got hot. All right, buddy.
And that's all I'm going to say.
We're crapping
but I
out
appreciate
on
you
Skype
acquiescing
here.
on that.
We're crapping out in Skype, so get the info in, and we're going to end this one.
And to be honest, I have no idea which way I'm going to go on the Super Bowl yet. I told you before the podcast, or we both said we flipped and flopped already, just thinking about it a couple of times each on who we like. It's going to be an interesting podcast next week. And don't forget, we have our prop show next week as well. We're going to do our pick show. We'll come up Wednesday for a prop, or our pick show will be on Wednesday. Our prop show will be posted on Thursday, which, if you've listened in the past, is probably one of the most fun ones we do all year because it's just goofy bets. We go through the list and pick a few out. It's the most fun you can have on Super Bowl. We were talking about this before the podcast.
Welcome back.
See, we didn't even need a 30-second break there to cool off. We were having a good time in the second half of the podcast.
Yeah, we're running along, man. Let's finish this up.
Where I was at when we got cut off again was the most fun we had with the Super Bowl with our prop bets is the Seattle-Denver blowout, because everybody around us was, this game sucks, it's over. And I'm still cheering with like 3 minutes left for Russell Wilson not to get another yard of passing or Julius Thomas to catch another pass. It made the game fun all the way through.
And we needed a sack.
Yeah, we got a strip sack at the end to cash a prop bet. It was great. So I'm just advocating that. Listen to that podcast. It's a lot of fun. And next week we're going to do Pick Show Tuesday. Prop bet will go up. We'll do that Wednesday night to go up Thursday. So that's that. All right. We ran long. We had way too long a discussion on Denver, New England. Although fun, it was a little long.
Fuck you too.
Yeah, no, fuck you. If you want to check out the podcast, you can listen to it on iTunes or at Stitcher for your Android device, Stitcher.com, whatever. On our website, offensivelines.ca. Follow us on Twitter at offensivelines for any updates to our blog posts or when a new podcast is available. Facebook, or our personal Twitter accounts at OLinesMarlon or at OLinesBoyd, Facebook.com/offensivelines. And if you want to send us an email, it's offensivelines@shaw.ca. I'm Boyd.
I'm Marlon. And that was our recap of Championship Weekend. Simple question. With 6 minutes left and all your timeouts, would you rather be down by 5 or down by 8?
Doesn't matter because it's a hypothetical.
Generous fucking gambler.